Welcome back to Lobotomy Corporation. I'm Grillmastah, and today we have Fairy Festival. Fairy Festival is one of the few Zayen abnormalities. It appears to be a large fairy, flying around inside the containment unit. Julian here has the armor and weapon of Fairy Festival. They are both considered Zayen, so they are very weak. When you send an employee in who is 3 all across the board, instinct is very high, insight is common, attachment is high, and repression is common. Most of the employees don't know the real meaning of the fairy's care. When an employee leaves the containment unit with normal or above, they get fairies that follow them around that slowly heal over time. If you send them into an abnormality other than Fairy Festival, while the fairies are on them, the fairies will proceed to eat them. The story of Fairy Festival. The abnormality is similar to a fairy, having 2 pairs of wings and a small body. They act as a cluster. They use a language that we cannot understand to communicate with each other. They follow around a few employees who enter the containment facility and use their special abilities to help heal them. Employees call this the act of the fairy's care. The fairies protect our employees, that is, if you often acted out of goodness of your heart, are a lover of nature, and are a competent being, then the fairies will gladly take care of you. Everything will be peaceful while you're under the fairy's care. Also, you can enjoy the envy of others. Not that it's important, and if the fairies don't approach you, then you should reflect on your life. When Emil and I took shifts entering the fairies' containment facility, the fairies did not hesitate to approach me. Just me, and never to Emil. You all know Emil, and how he is. Why, even yesterday he refused to share his snacks with me, and was acting all high and mighty. It is sacred to be protected by fairies in any world, but don't enter the containment facility just for fun. If you've read some books, you'll know that fairies don't like people who take advantage of their kindness. The corresponding document is only allowed to employees level 4 or above. When Walter, who was under the care of the fairies, died in the containment facility of another abnormality, we found some anomalies. His stomach and face were ripped off, his eyeballs and organs were eaten by something. Moreover, the containment facility that Walter was found in was for abnormalities that use mental attacks. Fairies were discovered in a different area that had someone's blood and flesh smeared all over their mouths. We did not perform tests to find out whose flesh and blood it was. In our world, there are few results that are done due to perfect kindness. Having fairies that live in the forest visit you just because they like you or you did many good deeds. It's just something that happens only in fairy tales. Even though we know this truth, we sometimes become deluded that the fairies' care is happening because of all good deeds I've done in my life, or that the fairies are favoring me because there is something that makes me more special than the other employees. However, fairies are just monsters who like meat. They protected you because they want to keep their food fresh. When the employee starts working in a different containment facility, they gobble the employee up in fear that they would lose their food to something else. But most of the employees who received care from the fairies were greatly satisfied. Also, the accident rate greatly reduced while the fairies were given care in a positive effect for the company. Therefore, it has been decided that the employees will not be told the full truth. Management Tip 1. When the work result was normal or above, small fairies will be born around the employee. Management Tip 2. The employee's HP will be healed over time by the small fairies for a limited time. Management Tip 3. If an employee who is under the care of small fairies go to do a different management work, then that employee will immediately die and be eaten by the fairies. Instinct is high all across the board. Insight is common for 1 and 2, low on 3, 4, and 5. Attachment is high on 1 and 2, and common on 3, 4, and 5. Repression is common on 1, 2, and low for 3, 4, and 5. So again, this is another abnormality, that the lower the character, the better they do. But it doesn't matter, really, late game, when you have a high-level character, because they're not going to get defeated by this. It is very good to work on your instinct, and attachment is what I generally do. The weapon is Zayen. Red is short distance and a speed of normal. So in the very beginning it is useful, but very quickly pushed to the side by other things. The suit is 0.8 to red, 0.8 to white, 1 to black, and 2 to pale. So in reality, it actually is better than 1 or 2 of the suits I think that are Teth. But it's a Zayen, so it won't protect much against the higher level abnormalities at all. The gift is a 10% chance, success rate of 2, and work speed of 2, and it's a hand 2. So again, it's another gift that is actually pretty useful to have, because not a lot of other abnormalities will give a hand. And there is no escape counter because it is a non-escaped object. And that has been Fairy Festival. Until next time.